How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We'll know something really important in the next few hours. Actually, probably when you're sleeping, based on my demographics, we're going to get some pretty big information. I want to go through that, also show you a cool tool in case you are a Bitcoin investor, and talk about Tesla because they just had a big announcement after hours. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this one as soon as I make them. There's also going to be a link underneath the video to CoinW. In case you want to start trading cryptocurrency using leverage, you can do that, or you can buy spot. There's also a link to Margex as well underneath the video. This is powered by TradingView. So you can chart everything right here, and then you can come back to it at a later date and make trades, which is really nice. And they have all different forms of collateral. Definitely check these two websites out underneath the video. Now, we had something that I covered in the video this morning, bullish divergence with RSI. And I said, they're trying to trick you. The price is going down, but RSI is moving up. This is probably a good sign for a bottom. And what's happened? Well, the price has started to move up from about the mid 61,000s earlier to now 64,100, 64,200, making a nice intraday move of about $2,500. Now, could be due to that. It could also be because of some of the things that are happening right now. We look like we may have an outflow from the US ETFs, but Hong Kong is starting to trade. Like as I'm speaking here, their ETF launches tomorrow, but it's really tonight for a lot of people. So this is happening like right at the time of this recording. There's a little secret from this part of the world. And there's a little secret from this part of the world. The Asian market and user count is bigger than the US and European markets combined. This is coming from Willy Woo, one of the top analysts on crypto, especially Bitcoin. Number of cryptocurrency users in different regions. Asia has over 120 million, about 130 million, much higher than North America, South America, Africa, Europe. So yeah, there are a lot of people that think that this is going to be huge. And we just got this from Eric Balkanis. This is from Zhu Hawking. Now, let me pull this up because I have another article explaining who this is. He's the head of digital asset management and family wealth at one of the ETF providers. So he's kind of talking his book. It's called China AMC. And he expects initial subscriptions into the products are going to surpass those seen by U.S. funds. He says, I am very confident that the initial listing scale of Hong Kong's virtual asset spot ETF can exceed the issuance scale on the first day of the United States. So it was around 125 million. He thinks they can beat it. So this is going to be really interesting. We'll know in the morning, depending on where you're at. So maybe 12 hours or so from the time of this recording, we'll know how well these actually did. But we're already starting to see an increase in price. Whether this is just excitement ahead of it, maybe it's pre-market. I don't know exactly when this will start trading, specifically based on like when their market opens. I believe there's a little bit of time left, but who knows, right? There could be some games being played. Eric says, note also, this is the first time we will get a clean look at how popular ETH is relative to Bitcoin in ETF format, because the 3 Hong Kong spot Ethereum ETFs also start trading soon. So they're ready to go. The Bitcoin ETFs are going to go. Eric says, what percent of flows do you think they will grab? He thinks that ETH will only be about 10% of the Bitcoin flows or the overall flows. So it will be interesting to see. Maybe Ethereum moves up. You can see in the last 24 hours, down about 2% compared to Bitcoin, which is actually up 1.15% as of now. So, yeah, a lot of people starting to pay attention, starting to get excited again. It seems like maybe this was the cooling off period. As I've said many times, you don't want to be faked out during this period. We're just trending sideways. This is normal. And hopefully you didn't get shaken out because we could have a big run. Now, of course, we could always drop too, but some people aren't waiting for that. Michael Saylor bought an additional 122 Bitcoin for about $8 million through MicroStrategy. So now they hold 214,400 BTC. Now, he says, please join us at 5 p.m. Eastern Time as we discuss our Q1 2024 financial results and answer questions about the outlook. Now, I don't know if you really have to go watch this out of all the earnings calls, right? This is pretty much, we buy Bitcoin. We are a Bitcoin company. We're going to keep on buying Bitcoin. So I'm not going to watch this. Most likely, I'm not going to spend my time doing this, listening to this. But, this is a company that I hold some of too. Let me know your thoughts on this. Obviously, a smaller buy for them. But hey, 122 Bitcoin is nothing to scoff at no matter who you are. Now, this is a really cool tool. I have no affiliation with it. None at all. None. But I saw it on Twitter, and I thought, this is pretty cool. This is similar to some of the stuff that I do. Maybe I'll make a full video on this at some point. This is a Bitcoin retirement calculator. Now, keep in mind, whenever you play with stuff like this, things can be finagled, right? You can make them look certain ways. But I thought it's a fun thing to do, and it maybe is a little bit easier. I'll leave a link to it underneath the video. Like I said, I just saw a smaller Twitter channel or a smaller Twitter page mention this, that they created it, and I thought it's pretty cool. So you can type in your age. Let's say you're 25, younger than me, but let's say you're 25, and you expect to live to 90. Okay, the amount of Bitcoin you hold, let's say you hold 2 Bitcoin. Annual estimated buy, we're going to say 0. You have your 2 Bitcoin, you're not buying anymore. Let's say you're expecting it to go up 15% a year. Keep in mind, it's not going to be exactly this. Like, this is based on linear growth, which doesn't happen. So we're probably going to see like 100% growth and then negative 40% growth and then 80% growth and negative 35, stuff like that. But let's say we have annual inflation of 2.5%. and you have a desired annual income, let's say of $120,000. And we're going to turn this on optimized. Basically, the difference between conservative and optimized is conservative, you're just going to sell everything at your retirement age, and then you're just going to live off the cash. I don't like that. I'm going to say optimized. This is basically selling when you need it, and then the rest of your portfolio is still in Bitcoin as it appreciates. So let's continue here. You can see the retirement age would be 44. The price of Bitcoin would be $909,000. Now, this is based, again, on 15% growth for the next 19 years. Sorry if you hear my dog barking in the background. But that is how it works out. So if you have 2 Bitcoin, you can retire when Bitcoin's at $909,000. Now, keep in mind that the time really is, I guess part of it is drawdown, right? How much it appreciates or how long you can draw down on it. But a lot of it is just based on the price of Bitcoin. So obviously if Bitcoin goes up faster, right? Let's say Bitcoin hits 909,000 in 8 years, you can pretty much retire, right? So current Bitcoin price, 63,000. This is the price when you can retire. Annual retirement budget. This is cool. They put it in Bitcoin. 0.04. How cool is that? 0.04 Bitcoin. Monthly retirement budget, 0.0036. This is the monthly retirement budget. Now, I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Again, I'm just playing around with this. I think it's really cool. But the annual retirement budget of 0.04 when you retire is at $909,000 per Bitcoin. That would only be about $40,000. So let me know what you think in the comment section, like how they're working out these numbers. I think this is the average. Stay with me here. I'm working through this in my brain, but this is the price when you retire. So when you retire at 44, the price is $909,000. But they're assuming compounding growth of 15% for the next 45 years. So, I mean, the price of Bitcoin towards the end has to be getting close to like $1 billion. I mean, you're talking about, again, 45 years of growth at 15%. Actually, we can just find that out really easy. So this times 45. So yeah, we're talking about a $500 million Bitcoin by the end of this calculation. I think this is the average then, right? So at first you're going to be pulling more than this 0.04, but then by the end, obviously you're going to be pulling a very small amount. I mean, you can see the difference between one year and the next. We're talking about 0.002 Bitcoin. over an entire year. So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know if this is something that you think is, useful. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to play with these things. But let's move on to Tesla stock. Up 15.3% here today. Not even really seeing a pullback after hours. And we talked about why this was in the video earlier today with FSD, but they just announced something else. Tesla secured a $650 million contract to build the largest battery energy storage system in Australia, over twice the size of the storage system pictured below. It will mean the Neon Coley battery will be sized at a total of 560 megawatts and 2,240 megawatt hours. This $650 million contract means French developer Neon will add a 341 megawatt. Okay, let's just continue through. So when complete, the Coley battery will have the ability to charge and discharge 20% of the average demand in Western Australia's main grid. That's crazy. This one facility will be able to deal with 20% of the demand of Western Australia. That's crazy. And this is a huge contract, $650 million. I forget exactly what their profit margin is on their energy business. I think it's pretty good though. So, this is a significant contract. Benjamin Cohen actually talks about Tesla too. I was a major bull on Tesla in 2013 and 2019/2020, but I publicly shifted my view in early 2022 based on economic headwinds. I probably should have shifted back in early 2023. Before we all lose our minds on this rally, let's first see a higher high. So he brings it back into TA at the end. But it's really interesting. He says, I probably should have shifted back in early 2023. Okay, so obviously that was a good time to be buying, right? Now, at the time, we didn't know based on TA that was a good time because we pretty much just went straight up and then went straight down. Now, obviously, it looks good on a TA basis. But keep in mind, look at this line too. This is beautiful, beautiful. Luckily, I did buy right here. If you were in my Patreon, you would know that. It was not a huge amount, let me be clear, but I put my entire dollar cost average for a day in there, and I had been dollar cost averaging a little bit before that as well. But keep in mind, sometimes you just don't look at the TA anymore, right? Sometimes you just realize an asset is undervalued based on the past, and especially for companies based on the cash flows. It's much harder in crypto. There's so many different ways you can slice it, so many different ways you can look at it. That's why a lot of people just look at TA. But here, there's no TA that tells you that Tesla had bottomed, right? There wasn't at the time. So it was more just a fact of, hey, this is significantly undervalued. It's trading at the same PE as the stock market, and it's got insane growth in front of it. It's got a lot of very high margin businesses that are being hit hard by higher interest rates, but that will change at some point. And this company is growing much faster than the S&P 500 in a huge, how do you say that? In a sector that's going to grow massively in the future, right? Massive tailwinds. So yeah, I bought back here. I bought over here. I bought some in between, right? I just think Tesla is a really interesting company, even at today's prices. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video, though. Again, you can check out the links to MargeX and to CoinW underneath the video. I think we're in for a face-melting rally at some point in the future. It's just a question of whether you get shaken out beforehand. And if you're watching this video, you're probably not getting shaken out. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you all being part of this beautiful community that we have here. Again, there are links underneath the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.